In this video, I'll reveal a powerful liquidity strategy, and it's the exact strategy used by professional traders, yet I'm breaking it down so simple that anyone, even total beginners, can follow. So if you want to learn the strategy that professional traders actually use, this is it. Now, let's dive in. So, the strategy revolves around one key concept: liquidity. But what exactly is liquidity? In simple terms, they are areas where pending orders are placed in the market. Let's break this down with a practical example. Imagine you're looking at a chart and decided to place a buy order at a certain price level. What you're actually doing here is providing liquidity to the market at that price level. You're basically telling the market, hey, I'm willing to buy at this exact price. The same principle applies when you place a sell order. You're basically telling the market, hey, I'm willing to sell at this exact price, which also creates liquidity at that level. In most markets, liquidity is present at every price level because millions of traders are constantly placing orders at different prices. These could be retail traders, big banks, or financial institutions. So at any price point, there's always a market participant willing to buy, and there's always a market participant willing to sell. That's the whole concept of liquidity, and it's what makes the markets move every day. However, there are certain price levels where there's more liquidity than others. For example, let's say there's a support level on a chart where price has bounced off twice. As price approaches that level again, what do you think most traders will do when they see this setup? They'll expect another bounce, so they'll enter a long position right at the support and place their stop loss just below it. If they're more cautious, they might place it further down to avoid getting stopped out easily. Now, you've probably experienced this before. Instead of bouncing, price wicks through the support just enough to trigger the stop loss, only for it to reverse and come back higher. You're then left wondering why the setup failed. The reason this happens is because professional traders, the ones with a lot of capital, intentionally target the resting liquidity below that support. They know that a lot of retail traders are watching the same pattern and are placing stop losses in the same zone. This creates a lot of liquidity in that area. So by taking those stop losses out, they absorb the liquidity needed to fill their own long positions. That's why you often see price wicking through a key level before reversing. And so, I'm going to teach you how to be in the 1% of traders who takes advantage of this, so you don't end up like the 99% who gets stopped out. And just so you know, this strategy works best on lower time frames, like the 5 to 15 minute chart, and it can be used on any asset, whether it's Forex, crypto, or stocks. Let's begin. So first, to simplify everything, I'm going to break down the strategy into 4 simple steps that you can follow. Keep in mind that all of these steps are connected to one another, meaning if you skip any of them, you can't proceed to the next one. So let's begin. Step 1 is identifying something called a break of structure in price. To do this, we first need to understand how trends actually form. So we all know there are 2 types of trends in the market: uptrends and downtrends. Let's take an uptrend, for example. During an uptrend, the markets rarely move straight up. Instead, it moves in a structured way, forming what's called higher highs and higher lows. On the flip side, during a downtrend, the structure you'll find is price forming lower highs and lower lows. Now, in an uptrend structure, whenever the previous high gets broken and price forms a new higher high, that's what we call a break of structure. Similarly, in a downtrend, whenever the previous low gets broken and price forms a new lower low, that's also called a break of structure. Now that you have an idea of what a break of structure is, let's look at a real chart example. In this chart, we can see that price is forming higher highs and higher lows, indicating an uptrend. To find the break of structure, we simply look at the moment price broke above the previous highs and formed higher highs, which is right here. So this becomes our break of structure. Now, it's important that you wait for a candle to actually close above the previous highs for it to count as a break of structure. So wicks alone don't count. Once a break of structure is identified, we can move on to step 2, which is identifying a supply or demand zone. These are areas where large buy or sell orders were placed in the market, causing a sharp move in price. The easiest way to find these zones is to first spot a break of structure.